You told, man, what to do? It's your boy K4 coming at y'all boys with another banger video, man. Today, I'm gonna be giving y'all boys a trade recap, and I'm gonna be showing y'all boys how y'all could have made 2% in one trade in less than 3 hours. 2%, people be like, yo, what is 2%? 2% is however much your account balance is. So say you have a 100K account and you risk 1%, that's $1,000. You make 2%, that's $2,000. You're risking 1,000 to make 2,000. It's very simple. But I just feel like I should make this video so y'all can know and y'all can start learning how to identify these low time frame entries, to where sometimes they can give you a very high RR, right? A high ROI on your investment. So yeah, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for the vlog, man. Plenty of videos coming soon in the future. This is just the beginning. Y'all boys stay tuned. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, man. Let me show y'all my little setup that I got going on over here. So basically, you know, I just got, you know, a little monitor, PC. Got all my, you know, journals and stuff, trading in the zone. Yeah, man, this is my setup, man. This is where I work from. This is, you know, where all the magic is gonna happen for right now. You know what I'm saying? And hey, man, I ain't ashamed. You know what I'm saying? I'm working, I'm grinding, and we just getting started. You feel me? So make sure y'all stay tuned. Make sure y'all join the Discord, Deep in VIP. We just started the Discord probably like less than a month ago. We got already 80 members. So make sure y'all join, tap in, and just, you know, soak in this knowledge and this information that I'm about to give y'all, man, because trading can change your life, man, when you do it the right way. And it's not easy, but it's possible. Anything is possible if you put your mind to it. And that's just the simple fact. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact. It's that simple, you feel me? So yeah, I'm finna hop on the charts, man. We finna go over this trade recap. Y'all boys, make sure y'all pull out y'all notepad, take notes, bro. You feel me? When I first started learning, I took so many notes. I can show y'all my journal. The journal I have right here. These is just so many, like I have so many notes and stuff. Like I could flip through this whole entire book and show y'all everything that I have, but that'll take forever, you feel me? But yeah, just, you know, watch the full video. Later on, I'm gonna give y'all a workout vlog. You know, I'm gonna put up, I'm gonna show y'all boys me working out and just, you know, elevating, bro, because trading is not just about making money, bro. Trading is about elevating all aspects of life, bro. You wanna elevate spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially, right? You can't do one without the other. You have to do all of them together, bro. That's the only way you're gonna improve and get better and just, you know, become a greater individual and be able to change yourself, change your mind, change your lifestyle, and just, you know, help people around you, whether that be your family members, you know, close friends, random people who you don't know and need. Hey, man, it all starts with you. It always starts with the person in the mirror, the man in the mirror, man. So yeah, y'all boys stay tuned, man. Like I said, this is just the beginning. Y'all boys gonna get a lot of content from me in the very near future. All right, man, so we are on the charts. So first off, let me give y'all a rundown of how this trade came about. So if you check my Twitter, 2 days ago, I told everybody that I was looking for a potential redistribution schematic coming into our supply POI on hype, because hype is in a bearish PO3 schematic where we front ran our technical target of the PO3, which was this liquidity POI right here, making it equal lows down here. So I feel like these equal lows can be a magnet to where, you know, they end up getting taken out. So I was looking for a redistribution coming into this supply POI or this supply POI. I posted it on my X in advance, as y'all can see right here. This was June 21st. Hype. Currently in the bearish PO3, would like to see a low time frame TCT redistribution schematic form offering a potential entry down towards 30.639, the technical target of the bearish PO3 and a likely magnet for price. Make sure y'all follow me on X if y'all don't follow me already. I do be giving out my trade setups on X. And yeah, man, it's just free game. You know what I'm saying? Free game. But then I said 21 hours ago, hype. Still looking for a potential TCT redistribution schematic to target 30.639 if price is intended to sweep that liquidity POI, which is the technical target of the bearish PO3 schematic. If it's intended, price does not have to go sweep that liquidity POI. But looking at context, it's like, okay, it could happen, you know what I'm saying? But it doesn't have to happen. So I was patiently waiting to see if we can get a high probability range formation. So hopping into the hype chart, when I came into, first off, let's break it down, right? I'm gonna delete all this so y'all can just get a raw analysis of how I go about looking for potential setups. It all starts with pre-planning. You gotta pre-plan everything. You know what I'm saying? That way when the time comes, you already know what you wanna do and you don't really have to think too much, you know what I'm saying? So good thing I pre-planned this, because when I hopped on the chart, the trade was already in play, right? So I'm kind of entering, like, I'm kind of like doing my TA quick, trying to make sure I'm like, you know, I'm seeing what I want to see. But it's like, it happened so fast, I couldn't even post it in my Discord. So I posted it on X, right? Just to, you know, have my track record and show people proof that I'm posting the before and after of these setups. But I couldn't post it in my Discord on time. But yeah, looking at price action, if you look at the higher time frame, what was it? Was it a 3 hour, 2 hour? So it was a 2 hour market structure pool. So if you look at market structure from the high up, you have a high, skipping over all of this, you have a low, a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then you come up and you kind of, you know, looking at price kind of break, trying to break this high, right? This lower high. So most of the time, when price break structure or try to break structure, we can get some type of range formation, especially if we coming into supply POI or a demand POI. If we break structure back to bearish, in this case we break structure back to bullish. So what happens going to the lower time frame, at this point in time, if you look at replay, I was looking at, okay, is this a range? Is this a valid range? Well, if you look at the 30 minute, this is a valid range, because when in an uptrend, you pull your range from top to bottom, right? So from the bottom up, you have a low, you have a high, you have a higher low for a higher high, and then you will pull your range from top to bottom, which would be this high and then this low. And I'm gonna replay it a little bit further. And that's your range, right? We have supply above. Now, what happens after? We get our first deviation of the range high, indicating a potential distribution in the making, right? Now, fast forwarding, what happens? We kind of get that slow grind up. I hate when they kind of zoom out, but we kind of get that slow grind up, right? And then, as you can see, this is a demand POI right here. What happened? We mitigate that demand POI, leaving no room for error. No room for error. That's very important when you're taking these low time frame schematics, because you don't want to be taking a low time frame schematic where you have a huge demand POI that could potentially allow price to, you know, come down and just bounce off of it and your model fails. So now, looking at this price action, when you wanna look for a model 2, you have to grab extreme liquidity or you have to mitigate extreme supply. In this case, if you drop down to the 1 minute time frame, there was really no clear POIs from a second tap, right? But when I came into the market, I didn't even have to worry about looking for my POIs because I came into the market after price already swept this high once more. So if I fast forward, we ended up sweeping that high, right? Never mitigating supply and never breaking structure back to bearish, right? How do you confirm a distribution schematic? Whenever you break structure between tap 2 and tap 3 from the lowest point coming into that third tap. So this would be your tap 1, this would be your tap 2, and this would be potentially your tap 3 at that moment, right? If you broke structure right here, more than likely we would like to mitigate the supply POI since we so close to it, right? But if we did break structure, that does confirm the distribution schematic. So if we did break structure, you could have entered short right there with your stop above that high. And in this situation, price just front run the supply POI, which plenty of times price can do that. And then you would target the range low, and that would be your trade setup. But we end up SFP in that low, right? And then what you can do is you can look for this low to get broken, right? What happens? We end up mitigating the supply POI. So now you can move your supply because it did get mitigated, which is making this a very nice looking distribution schematic. Now, we didn't really have no demand POIs, right? But all the demand POIs were getting mitigated on each move, making this nothing but sell side liquidity. And when you take these low time frame setups, you kind of want to have that nice return to zone. You want to have that nice return to zone because you don't want price to that nice return to zone allows price to have that move down, that quick aggressive move down, because everybody who's trying to long getting stopped out. And once you hit that first liquidation, it just kind of causes a snowball effect to where once you hit that, then you kind of just, you go start taking out all those lows, and it can be a fast move down. So I came on the charts probably around here. So I probably was on the chart somewhere around here, and I'm looking at price and I'm like, okay, this is an SFP, right? And then I was like, okay, now we broke structure right here. Is it 2 minute? Okay, so it was just 1 minute. It's a very low time frame, bro. So that's why it's like you kind of gotta be advanced. You gotta have experience. If you don't have experience, you're not gonna be able to take this trade with confidence, and like, you're not gonna. Majority of people is not gonna take this setup basically because they're scared and they don't understand like price. So when I came, I was like, okay, I was looking at this supply POI, and I was thinking like, okay, maybe we can get some type of pullback, retest that supply, break structure back to bearish, and then we go short right there with our stop above that high, and we target the range low, which is the technical target of the distribution schematic for a nice or a nice trade, right? But then what I noticed is we get the aggressive break of structure, and then we got this two candle, right? This two candle pull right here, and this is a break of structure right here. So then I see that and I'm like, okay, we don't have to mitigate that supply POI. This is my confirmation right here. This break of structure right here. So then I go short. I put my stop above the third tap, and I target the range low. Wait, hold on. No. That's not right. I put my stop above. No. Hold on. Let me fast forward one more. Okay, so right here. So then we pulled up right here. My fault. That was wrong. So we pulled up right here, and obviously I think you could maybe try to use this as a supply POI, right? Because it was that last buy to sell before the breaker structure, right? So it's like you could have used that as your extreme supply, but it didn't, like, it's mitigated, so you don't really want to use that as your extreme supply. But then price ended up pulling back, right? Front running the supply POI, and then we got a breaker structure. We end up getting a breaker structure right here. So on this breaker structure, this is when I enter short with my stop above the high, targeting the low for a 2RR setup. Is this a bearish candle? No. Yeah, so this is your setup for a 1.66. It wasn't supposed to be a 1.66. I don't know, something ain't right. It was supposed to be a 2RR setup. Let me check. Well, it was supposed to be a 2RR. When did I enter? I know I entered on this breaking structure, right? Let me double check. It happened so fast, bro. Okay, so I was on the 1 minute and I entered on that breaking structure. Right there. Oh, so I entered on this breaking structure right here. Okay. So after this aggressive move right here, I guess I counted this as structure right here. And then I entered on that breaker structure. It was very aggressive. You could tell, like, it's I think it was maybe 2 minutes. Was it 2 minutes? Okay, there we go. So it was a 2 minute market structure pool. We got the two bearish candles making this a valid market structure pool. So then I targeted the range low, and now there you go. It's a 2.23R setup. And yeah, this is just, the setup that you take. It's nothing but sell side liquidity. You can even pull it from right here. And then you can use this. And boom, this is your setup. Like I said, whenever you break structure from the lowest point between tap 2 and tap 3, this being your lowest point and this being your highest point, that's when you confirm this distribution schematic. You broke structure right here, and that confirmed it. It already was in play. But price don't have to mitigate the supply POI. It can front run that supply POI because it's already, the market makers are already positioned, and like I said, the trade is already in play. But if it did mitigate the supply POI, it would have given us a better probably RR, and it kind of would have gave us higher conviction. But at the same time, you got to be able to use BTC and USDT as confluence. So now jumping into let's jump into BTC first, or USDT first, yeah. So jumping into USDT, at that moment in time, we came into, this demand POI, right? And if you look at structure, we were creating higher lows and higher highs, and then we broke structure back to bearish, right? And we got these 2 consecutive bullish candles, and then we deviated the low, right? When in a downtrend, you pull your market structure from bottom to top, and that gives you your range. So once you deviate that range low, then you can extend it towards that second top. And now we can look for a potential Model 1 or a Model 2 distribution schematic. In this case, we swept the low, and then we pushed back up to a lower time frame. You got your 1, you got your 2, and then you got your 3 right here, where basically you just grab your liquidity. Let me go to the lower time frame. Put it in replay mode. You can't do replay mode. Okay, so you swept the low once. Oh, you swept the low once right here. And it's very low time frame, bro. Very low. So you swept the low once, and then you swept the low again. And then once you swept the low, you ended up creating a higher low for a higher high, right? Once I seen this, I was like, okay, cool. this is an accumulation schematic because we swept the low once, we swept the low twice. We got the breaker structure right here, kind of like, not really getting a convincing breaker structure, but because we got a higher low for a higher high, I was like, okay, cool. Now we can get a full rotation towards this high up here, which is the technical target. Which ended up not playing out now that I'm looking at it, because I didn't even look at it, but at the time I was like, okay, hype. At the time, once BTC, let me go to BTC chart real quick. So BTC at that given moment, we were coming into supply, right? Indicating a potential rejection, right? Indicating hype can have that rejection too if Bitcoin starts to reject. We swept the high, and then we ended up coming up and kind of like grabbing extreme liquidity, right? So this was kind of like a Model 2 distribution schematic. And you kind of gotta, like I said, it's experience, right? It's just experience, just seeing this type of price action coming into the supply POI, understanding that we kind of, just got that low time, that breaker structure, and we can have some type of range formation after breaking structure back to bullish coming into supply. I was like, okay, we can have a full on rotation back towards this low. But once price took out this low, which was at 208 on height, if you look at the chart at 208, we were right here. We were right here at 208. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to move my stop to break even. I don't want to risk any more money on this setup, right? If price come and stop me out, I can look for a re-entry. If we come back up and we have like a slow grind up, I can look for a potential re-entry to then target that low if majority of sell side liquidity is still intact, right? But at this moment in time, we had just an aggressive move down, taking all sell side liquidity. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to move my stop to break even. But it's just using BTC coming into resistance and USDT coming into support, and kind of having that accumulation schematic formation, and then BTC having that low time frame distribution schematic, which made this a high probability setup. And if you let it play out, it ended up, having like, a little choppy price action, a little manipulation. People probably thought it wasn't going to hit the technical target, but you just be patient, you let it play out, and then boom, there you go. You have an easy, beautiful setup, 2.23 RR setup in less than an hour and 44 minutes, right? An hour and 40 minutes, bro, and you make 2% on a single trade setup. Now, something that I was paying attention to was the volume area. At the time of the breaking structure, the volume area was not looking the best. So I was like, I gotta be careful, right? Because most of the time you want that PLC to kind of be in the premium section, right? And that volume area low to kind of be close to the equilibrium. But at the same time, if you look to the left, we did have a nice distributed volume profile, which is very nice. So I was like, the volume area doesn't always have to be the best, but if it's not aligning with like context, if the volume area is not looking good, it doesn't stop you from not taking the trade. And like I said, that comes with experience. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this ended up being the trade setup. Overall, like I said, I was looking to, potentially take this lower, but I told myself, I don't feel like this low time frame schematic is going to be enough to, have that full on reversal. So I'm gonna close this trade out for a 2% trade, and I'm gonna start my week off good. I'm up 2%. Now I can just be chill, be relaxed. If I take a L, I'm still up 1% for the week, and I'm just in a good position. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want to do, because as you can see, price ended up hitting the technical target. I could have even tried to extend it towards this demand POI, of course, increase my R a little bit, but yeah, price ended up hitting the technical target, and then we fully reversed. I would have got stopped out for a loss. I would have got stopped out for a break even after already being up 2 to 3 RR if I held the trade, right? Almost 4 RR. And then I would have got stopped out for break even because I tried to hold the trade all the way down there because, that was my plan. But it's like, once you understand that you gotta be strategic and you gotta think about it in a professional way and not like how much money I can make. So yeah, I ended up closing the trade at the technical target, and I was like, I'll look for this range to be like the starting point of potentially a higher time frame range where um, this distribution is just like the starting point of a higher time frame schematic, right? To where maybe we get something like this, and then if we was to get something like this, okay, I could hold that, and potentially this could be that fuel needed to get that move all the way down towards the technical target of the bearish PO3 schematic, which at this given moment it didn't happen like that. If you look at the chart, we're currently just pushing up towards this supply POI, so maybe I look for a redistribution coming to this supply POI to then target lower. But time will tell, right? Time will tell. You just gotta wait, be patient, wait for those high probability range formations and trade your confirmations. But hopefully y'all understand why I took this trade and why I decided to, close my trade at a technical target fully and not try to leave a small runner, because that can mess up your psychology being up $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, right? If you're on a 100K account and then price come all the way back up and stop you out for $0. So then the next trade you go into, your mind's not gonna be there fully, because you're gonna be thinking about, dang, let me make that $2,000 back that I just lost on the last trade when I knew I should have, closed it. But I wasn't thinking, strategically. I was thinking of, oh, let me try to pass my prop firm challenge in one trade. Let me make some money. Let me try to hold this so I can make like 10 bands instead of closing it out for your trade setup. Your 2 bands, and then using that as a little what is it called, like leeway, or just to have like a little room. You know what I'm saying? Just in case you take a L later on in the week. But yeah, that was the trade setup. Very beautiful, played out beautiful, and then I ended up posting it on my X, showing everybody that a beautiful TCT Model 1 distribution schematic played out flawlessly, 2% gain to start the week. Trade idea given 2 days in advance, and I tagged Lars, my mentor, and Wyckoff Insider, somebody who I plan on being a partner with in the near future. Shout out to Wyckoff Insider, man. I just found out his name is Lars too, which is kind of crazy, but both of them named Lars. But yeah, man, it's just being patient, waiting for those confirmations, and just everything aligning, right? All the dots connecting, as Wyckoff Insider would say, bro. Everything was connecting. BTC coming into resistance, having that Model 2 type of, distribution schematic where we could go back and have a full rotation towards this demand POI to test it to see if price is intended to go lower. And then USDT coming into supply, coming into support. So yeah, man, that's the trade setup, man. Hopefully y'all was able to learn something from this. Yeah, man, this is something that takes time. It's not easy, right? It's definitely not easy, but like once you learn this skill set, bro, and you able to find these high probability setups each week, you can easily gain 5% a week, 10% a week, sometimes even 15, 20% a week, bro. I'm telling you, I see it every week. It works, bro. So if you want to start learning how to trade, I suggest you follow me, follow people who I'm learning from, Lars, Wyckoff Insider, and just join the TCT community, because people might think like, oh, this is a cult, or this is not gonna work, or you know what I'm saying, it doesn't work, they're trying to scam me. I promise you, bro, I see it with my own eyes every single week. I've been trading for a year straight, but when I first started trading, I had terrible habits, and now I'm finally breaking those habits and becoming that trader that I know I can be, right? To where I'm going to be financially free in the near future, and I'm going to be able to consistently make 10% a month, just being patient and trading my high probability TCT schematics. So yeah, man, make sure y'all join the Discord, Deep In VIP, link in the description, and just like, comment, and subscribe. Show love on this video, man, because this is just the beginning, man. I want y'all boys to be a part of this. I want everybody to learn this skill set, bro, because this can change your life quick. It can change your life in months, literally, if you do it the right way. So shout out to everybody who watched this whole entire trade recap, because you're the ones that want to learn and want to do this and get better. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to you, man. Shout out to you for just, you know, if you took notes, that's good. If you didn't, hopefully you was able to gain the knowledge of me, you know, going over this trade recap. But yeah, y'all boys stay tuned for the rest of the video, man. We finna go get a workout in. We finna continue to elevate and do the things that we need to do in order to get to where we trying to get to, which is financial freedom. You know, full-time trader. Like, that's what life is about, bro. Just being able to live life, man. So yeah, let's get right into it, man. Y'all boys stay tuned for the rest of the vlog. And like I said, this is just the beginning, man. This is just the beginning. I'm gonna catch y'all boys when I get to, you know, the park and we start working out. YouTube, man, it's your boy K4, man. Today, I ain't gonna be able to get y'all a workout video because that trade recap was like 40 minutes long. I didn't know it was gonna be that long for me. So hopefully y'all gain some knowledge, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and catch y'all boys in the next video.